Hi, my name is Brian with Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio, and welcome back to another quality video from ApplianceVideo.com. Alright, we have a Kenmore dryer, electric dryer, and the complaint is that it was making some noise, but the drum isn't tumbling. So what we found, we'll show you here, we'll open the door, that in fact it is not tumbling. So we'll go ahead and so I'm just bypassing the door switch here just to be able to show you that we can hear the motor and blower, everything's running. It does heat up. It's just not tumbling. So we're going to open it up, find out why it's not tumbling. Most likely the belt's broken or disconnected, so we'll find that out and go from there. For this repair, you will need a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and a 1/4 inch nut driver. Alright, so to get into this dryer, we first remove our lint filter. There's going to be 2 Phillips head screws to remove. And now we can lift the lid up on our dryer. There's going to be 2 clips on either side. You can use a putty knife or a flathead screwdriver to push in and lift it up. I like just to grasp the back of the lid and pull it forward and lift up on the front of it. And now we're going to take our, now we can actually see our belt. The belt is actually not broken, it's just disconnected. You want to inspect the belt and make sure it's not worn or needs to be replaced. So to get down to the bottom and see why this belt came off, we're going to take off the front panel. There's going to be 2 5/16 screws on either side to take off. And then we're going to have our wire harness for our door switch on the right side here. So we're going to use a small flathead to remove the harness. There's just a clip that we have to release here, either side, to get the harness off. Now we can take our front panel off. We're just going to lift the top of this out, and the bottom on each side just sits on the clips that are attached to the cabinet here. So we're just going to lift the panel straight upwards, and remove. Alright, so since our belt's already disconnected, we can go ahead and lift the drum straight out. I'm going to lift it off the rear drum supports. Right now. Now we can see the inside of the cabinet here. We have our rear drum supports here in the back. Those seem to be just fine. You just want to make sure they're not bound up or making any noise. Spin freely. This is our idler pulley, which should be over here in the bottom of the cabinet, like this. The belt wraps around this underneath. It pulls tension on it, and then it goes around our motor shaft here. So this is spinning freely, and I don't see any problems with that. So it could have just been somebody could open the door and spun the drum backwards, which would relieve the tension off of the idler pulley, and could, you know, pop that off of there, pop the belt off, and cause our issue. Other things, if it was a really uneven load, a pair of shoes that kind of kept bouncing around, things like that, something goofy happened and caused that belt to pop off of there. So we're just gonna reattach everything and put our belt and drum back in and run it through a test and make sure that it's not gonna pop off again from us. So on our idler pulley, our belt's gonna go from around the drum, around this wheel, through the bottom here, and then wrap around our motor shaft there. Alright, so we're just going to put our drum back in the way we took it out. Placing the back of the drum on the 2 rear drum supports. You can kind of roll it around to get them to seat the way they should seat on the rear drum rollers there. And we can put our belt back on. Just going to wrap it around the idler pulley, through the bottom of the idler pulley, and around the shaft of the motor. Next, we'll put our front panel back on. We're going to lift the drum up onto the front bearing that the drum rides on, and then we're going to lift the panel onto the 2 clips on either side here. There's holes in the front of the panel that these two clips sit in. Reinstall our two 5/16 screws through the cabinet into the front panel. And reconnect our wire harness for our door switch. Just push it in until it clicks and snaps into place. Alright, before we close the lid back down, we're going to start it up to make sure that our drum is spinning, the belt doesn't come off, and check for any other issues that it might have. We don't recommend doing this. This is just for purpose of video and diagnostics. So we're going to start it up here. You can hear a noise when you first start it up. Sounds like something down with the blower wheel and the blower housing, possibly something rubbing. We're only getting the noise, seems like when we first go to start it up. So we're going to have to take our blower housing off and inspect it to see if see where that noise is coming from. Alright, we'll go ahead and close our lid. We're going to have the two plastic clips here. We're just going to snap it down into place. And we can reinstall our two Phillips screws into our blower housing. And we can reinstall our lint filter. And then we'll go to the back of the dryer, take off the back panel to access our blower housing. Actually, we have to leave these two screws out and the lint filter out to access our blower housing. So to access our blower housing, the first thing we'll do is take these two Phillips screws out. Then we'll go to the back panel, remove it, and remove the rest of the blower housing. Alright, to remove our back panel of the dryer, there's going to be some 1/4" screws around the outer edge. So we'll go ahead and remove those. This 1/4" screw removes our electrical cover. It's just got a tab on the left side to remove. And then we'll just lift our back panel straight off the cabinet. And this is going to be our blower housing on the left side. We removed the two Phillips screws earlier that attach the top of the blower housing to the lid of our dryer. So next we're going to remove the 4 1/4" screws on the blower housing, the lower blower housing, 2 on each side. Now we can lift the bottom up and out of the cabinet first, and then the top slide out. We can inspect our blower housing. There's no evidence of anything inside. The blower wheel does have some notches taken out of it, like something might have been rubbing along it. We'll check inside the blower housing itself. Not too much inside here other than a little lint buildup, which is normal. So at this point we're going to start the dryer up again with this taken off. We don't recommend this with power hooked up to the dryer without the cover off, but we're going to start it up just to see if we can pinpoint where the noise is coming from. Alright, we'll start it up. That time on startup we didn't hear the noise, which would tell us we'll start it up a couple more times, let it run to make sure that the noise isn't still there, and if not, we'll make sure that we adjust the blower housing properly and clear any debris that might be in there out, and we will put it back together and listen for our noise again. Alright, so what we're going to do is put our blower housing back together. We found that the noise was just on initial startup. the motor flexing and the blower wheel briefly rubbing against the blower housing because of a large load inside of the dryer. So we have a load of towels in here, they're nice and wet, and it's just on initial startup puts a lot of strain on the motor, and we get a little bit of a rub from the blower wheel. Alright, now that we have the dryer unplugged, we'll put the blower housing back on. Put the top in first. And get the bottom past the bottom lip of the cabinet. Reinstall our 1/4" screws. Next we can reinstall our back panel. We'll set the bottom lip of the back panel onto the bottom lip of the cabinet. And bring the top of it in position. Install one of the screws to hold it in place, and we'll install our electrical cover. We'll install the tab on the left into the hole of the back panel. Now we can reinstall the rest of our screws. Alright, so we weren't getting a noise with the load of towels out, and now we got the load of towels back in. We'll start it up, and that's the initial noise that we were getting before. So it wasn't anything to do with the blower housing or anything in the blower housing. It's just the weight of the load on initial startup and periodically throughout the cycle. A little bit of a rubbing noise. So to fix this issue, we just have to put lighter loads into the dryer. Alright, now we can reinstall our 2 Phillips screws into the blower housing down from the lid. And reinstall our lint filter. And that will complete our repair for the dryer. Thank you for watching another quality video from ApplianceVideo.com.